kind of raw just while before we start talking about all the good stuff when it's actually not recording. Did you guys have to hit accept for that?
Yeah.
I just said got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it. All right, so we're just going over to the US, to California. Jack Rayner, about 4 hours after breaking at the Australian record. Welcome back to the Inside Running podcast.
Thanks again. Good to be back.
Give us some context. Where are you? It looks like you're walking around the streets. What's the time? What's happening?
It is 12:09 in the morning, so it's just over midnight. Was walking to the pub, but I think it's already shut. Apparently people were down there, so now I got to walk home.
Walk home by yourself. Can't even get a beer after breaking the Australian record.
Yeah, I know. Grim, isn't it?
It is. Jack, I'll go through some of the stats here. 27:15, you were third in the race. Grant Fisher won the race in an American record of 26:33. You broke the Australian record by 7 seconds. It was a 45-second personal best. World Champs and Commonwealth Games qualifier by 12 seconds. An estimated 5K split of 13:47. Tell us, did you think you were in that kind of shape or what was going on?
I didn't think I was in that kind of shape. I knew I was in good shape, like probably the best I've been in to date. So yeah. I kind of had to forget about my PB, like Nick just said, forget about your PB going in, treat it like a road race and just race it. And that's what I did. And it was a perfect night for it. Like the race was actually supposed to be last night. So I'm glad that they were able to push it back a day because it was super windy last night. So much better conditions tonight. So yeah. Once I got out there racing, it was just like they had the wave lights on as well. So I've only done a couple of races with the wave lights. So they had them set for American record pace and then the World Champs qualifying pace. So yeah, kind of it was just the back of the second pack for most of the race until sort of the last few K where I started to move up with Pat. But yeah, that definitely helped.
How long ago did you know you were in the race, Jack? Like before, after Zatopek?
After Zatopek, Nick kind of said there's a 10K in California. If you want to do it, I think you're in good shape. So I'm going to send you to that. I'm like, yeah, all right. I'll do whatever. So yeah, it was a quick last minute trip really, but yeah, it's paid off.
Yeah, it certainly has. And the way it was organised, like you said, how it got moved 24 hours because it was a bit windy yesterday. We know when the Bowman guys race, it kind of gets set up pretty much perfectly with pacemakers and the wave lights and things like that.
Yeah.
Can you, any comments on that? It sounds like a perfect scenario to run super fast in. Stuff that you don't get in Australia often.
Yeah, not at all. Like, I don't know, because it's such like a constant pace. Like with other races, there's a pacer, the pace can kind of jump up and down a lot just because it's kind of hard to run an even pace without something like a wave light there helping you. So kind of running it at such a smooth pace definitely helped a bit. But yeah, I was surprised. I thought I was going to start like finding it tough with like 6 or 7K into the race, but I don't know, it never really got hard until, sort of a few laps to go, which was kind of pleasing.
Yeah, that's incredible. Any other questions for him, fellas? I've got a few, but I'll give you an opportunity to ask yours.
Yeah, Jack, firstly, congratulations. Brett actually messaged us the other week when we put up the start list, which had Pat there, and he said, I think the Aussie record will be broken, but not by Pat. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. So he obviously knew you were in shape. Was there like a turning point in your training where like something clicked where you went, wow, like you did an incredible session or something where you just knew you were in amazing shape?
Not necessarily a specific session, but after going to Falls in January, like I'd trained the best I've ever have up there. So it was like, I don't think I had a single session where I trained bad. So I knew after doing that, like I ran quarters and the best anyone's ever done. So I'm like, all right, if I can run that, like surely that can translate to a good race on the track. So now it has. So
yeah, probably it. That was probably it. I reckon if you're running the best ever quarters at Falls, it says something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, doing that at Falls like means nothing really, but once it translates to an actual race, it's just like, okay, yeah, it did mean something.
Yeah.
How is your confidence, Jack, knowing that you're in a field with a lot of low 27 guys, and you've obviously had some success on the track, but compared to even those guys from your training group, you've never really stood out as a great track runner. How is the confidence going in?
You're exactly right. Like, yeah, I've ran decent on the roads. I've ran a couple of okay track races, but yeah, I just knew I hadn't run anywhere near what I should be doing on the track. So I kind of, yeah, it gave me a bit of an extra boost, like just knowing I had to put something on the board that was half decent. So yeah, running Australian record. Yeah, very happy with that now. So
you've really like jumped to the top echelon. I mean, you're always fantastic, winning road races, unbeaten a lot. Ran at 61 to win the Commonwealth half, but the Australian record in the 10,000 has, like, guys have been peppering that for a very long time, or around that. You've got like, even from your group, like, you've just jumped over Stewie. That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, Stewie and Pat. Yeah, they were both super close together. But yeah, once I was racing tonight, like, I think I was halfway through it. I'm like, I'm still feeling pretty good. Like, I'm just going to stick on the pack, just try and do as little as I can until it's the pointy end of the race. And then, last few laps, I started getting ahead of the wave lights. I'm like, all right, if I put in a good few laps, I should be able to get close to the record. But yeah, didn't realize I'd be getting under it by 7 seconds, or 6 seconds, or whatever it was.
Hey, Jack, because you broke it by so much, at what point in the race, like, you must have known with a lap to go that you're going to do it?
Yeah, I saw the clock with a lap to go. I'm like, all right, I should have run like a, I don't know, 68-second lap or something, and I'll get it, or maybe even slower than that. But yeah, so that kind of gave me a bit of fuel to go kick even harder. But yeah.
And
Nick said you need to close harder, because I ran 60, 60, and then 61. He's like, needed that last lap to get a bit better.
Yeah, well, this is your last 6 laps, Jack. 65, 64, 66, 60, 60, 61. But you ran faster than the two guys who come first and second over the last 3 laps. They went 62, 62, 58. So,
oh, really?
So that's something I'd be sending that back to Nick Beddoe, just saying, what about this, though? 3 minutes for the last 3 laps. 3:01, I got you right. Yeah.
3:01.
Yeah, where those guys were, they were 3:04, 3:03. Yeah, I reckon you got them. A couple of points of tenths and seconds maybe could sort things out in there, but that's a pretty solid way to close a race.
I think it was actually similar to Zatopek.
Yeah, it would have been. And I remember talking to you straight after the race as well, saying, did you realise how quick you closed those last 3 laps as well that day? So that's obviously, massive strength you got there. I'm interested, did Tokyo ever come into your mind, like over the last, the disappointment from the marathon at Tokyo, and now you come back to be, someone DNFing at an Olympics to now claiming an Australian record not so long after?
Yeah, to be honest, I try not to think too much about Tokyo, because it was a pretty awful trip for me. But yeah, definitely gave me a lot of motivation to change a few things, really put more emphasis on doing actual strength work, so I'm not actually getting injured all the time. So yeah, after doing that and getting into a bit more consistency, it's translated to some results, which is good.
Just on Tokyo, Jack, like you said that you try not to think about it, but as we know, like, running is full of ups and downs. And do you think the disappointment of the Olympics and those downtimes actually makes nights like tonight even more special?
Yeah, for sure. Like, people keep saying, "Oh, you're still an Olympian." I'm like, I don't think I am. I wouldn't call myself an Olympian yet. Like, not until I actually finish the race, I'll be an Olympian. But going there was still a cool experience and everything. But yeah, definitely want to actually do well at the Olympics next time it's on.
And is your attitude toward what you think you can do in the marathon, has that changed after tonight, knowing the next level that you've reached?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest problem for me is just getting through a marathon block and getting to the start line, which I haven't really done properly at all, besides London. But it'll be nice to train for a 10K, and then I think I'll do Com Games marathon just off kind of 10K training, maybe a few more long runs, but see what happens there.
Cool. So you'll do the 10K at the World Champs. Is that sort of what you mean?
Yeah, I think I'll do the 10K at World Champs, and then maybe do the marathon at Com Games. Still need to talk to Nick, but yeah, I think that's the plan.
That was kind of the perfect build for people, wasn't it? If they could get that time, then you can do both champs and almost not hurt one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. I think, it kind of works out well that you can do that. I think I don't know how far away. Then a few weeks, maybe a month apart.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah,
Hey.
it's pretty good.
Hey Jack, how stoked was your mum when she saw the result? Have you spoken to her, Kirsty? She's a long time listener to the podcast, I think. Will she comments on anything we ever post about you?
Yeah,
And she left a comment
She listens
today.
to
Just
everything.
that's cool. Yeah, comment today straight away, just saying that's my boy, and just saying how she can't really believe it yet. He sounds pretty chuffed though, so that must have been pretty special, that phone call through to her.
Yeah, definitely. She didn't realize I came third until I don't, because I think the stream was pretty average. So yeah, she didn't realize I came third until she saw the results pop up. And she's like, "Oh, is that right?" But yeah, she was super stoked.
Yeah, that was the
number
same
one
with our end.
supporter.
Yeah. I think we were all working as well, and we just I finished work and just saw things popping up, and I'm like, what? Serious? And then I messaged Luke Matthews in a group chat, and he's just like, yeah, he just broke it. He just absolutely smashed it. Like it was. I'm sure there's hundreds of Australian people out there who had that same experience. So you brought a lot of joy to people on their Monday afternoon. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Any other questions before we let him maybe continue walking to see if there's a pub open anywhere, boys?
I've got two quick
don't like my
ones. Jack, I saw your names on the start list of the National 3K Champs this coming Saturday. Will you be there?
I don't know. I fly home tomorrow night, so I kind of missed Tuesday and I'm back home Wednesday. So I'll decide in the next few days, but I'd like to do it, but I'll see how my body's feeling. Feeling okay now, but yeah, I'll make the decision in a couple of days, I reckon. But definitely we'll be doing National 5K.
Yeah. And in regards to this trip, like have you traveled over there all by yourself? Like has the race organisers put you up, or you just, sorted out your own accommodation? How did that all work?
It's just all, Nick and me. Just, I pay pretty much, paid for everything. So expensive little trip, but it's all paid off now. So happy with that.
I reckon.
Yeah, but the race meet, Sound Running, they don't offer any support to get here. So fair enough though. They put on good meets. So
but you said Nick went over with you?
No, solo trip.
Oh, okay.
Solo trip.
All right.
Yeah.
That's why he's walking around at 12:30 looking for a pub.
Looking for some company.
And then I'll start.
Very good, Jack. Well, thanks again for giving up some time. We were just saying before we recorded, like we sent you a message through, totally expecting that your phone to be blowing up and you wouldn't even have time to reply to us and stuff. But we're really grateful that you gave up some time so quickly after the race to talk to us and go through that race. And just finally, what's just the American scene? It's like something we often see on, Instagram, bit of stuff on Strava, like that Bowman group in particular, pretty big profile. Like what was it like racing against some of those guys and the whole atmosphere of the meet?
The meet is cool. They're really well organized, but I didn't really see many of the Bowman guys. Obviously, a few of them were in the front. I think that Kieran Tuntovate guy was in the big pack, so ran with him for a little bit. But yeah, it's funny, like finishing the race, it's like, I didn't even think they knew who I was. I was like walking back to my bag and I didn't even speak to anyone really. So I'm like, fucking hell, this is weird. It's like, this is Australia, a bit different story.
Yeah, well, that's the contrast, isn't it? Like your last 10K race, you cross the line at Lakeside and everyone's around you and I'm sure wanted to talk to you with bibs and high five. And now you're here on the other side of the world and you've run so much quicker, but the attention's not quite there.
No, not at all. That doesn't matter.
Should have had a crack at him. Just said something. Brought up Shelby Houlihan or something.
Shelby Houlihan. Nah.
All right, Jack. Well, thanks again for your time, mate. Safe travels home. And a massive congratulations again.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Well done, Jack.
Awesome to see. Well done.
Thanks, Jack. See you, mate.